Have you ever been planning or on a trip and thinking to yourself, how do I make the most of this? I want to make sure that this trip feels worthwhile, that I don't leave and come home and feel like I missed an opportunity or didn't do something, or that I had the best experience possible. Recently, I was walking home and I was thinking, how am I going to spend the summer? I was thinking of all the things I wanted to do, the places I haven't been, the experiences I want to have, and I was building a list in my head and going through it, trying to figure out how to fit everything into this summer. And the further I got in, the more it started to feel less like excitement about my summer and more like a project I had to manage and time I had to create to make these things happen. And I thought to myself, what am I actually doing right now? Because if I'm being honest, I wasn't planning a summer. I was trying to optimize one for the most meaningful experience. I was treating the next few months like something I needed to extract maximum value from. Like if I didn't hit the right experiences, I would have wasted it. There's this moment that happens when you're playing a video game and you stop actually playing it. You're in the middle of a level or in the middle of a quest, and as you're playing through it, you start to just go through the motions to get to the next stage of the game or to the next level. And you're skipping the cutscenes, you're finding the fastest route, you're making every choice based on efficiency. And on some level, it feels like productivity. But then the question creeps in. Why are you playing the game in the first place? Aren't you supposed to be enjoying yourself? Maybe turning your brain off for a little while? So why are you rushing through the current section to get to the next one? And that's what I was doing on the walk home. And if I'm being honest, that's what I've been doing for the past 8 months living in Spain. So I'm walking home from the gym and I'm building this list in my head. Places I want to go, things that I want to do before the season ends, and experiences that feel like they would make the summer count. Notice that? Make the summer count. And on the surface, that sounds like a person who loves where they live and wants to explore it. And sure, there's an element to that. But the further I got in, the more I noticed something underneath. And it wasn't really excitement driving the list. It was something closer to anxiety. A fear that if I didn't do enough, if I didn't experience enough, I would have wasted it. The whole experience of living in Spain, I would have wasted it. And somehow it wouldn't count. And making most of it is the tell. Because at least to me, that phrase implies a transaction, like there's a fixed amount of value available in living here. And my job is to extract as much as possible before time runs out. Miss something? I left value on the table. Spend a weekend doing nothing? That's a waste. I've been here for 8 months and I realized I've been running that calculation in some form the whole time. What am I going to be doing this holiday break? How am I going to be spending this weekend? What am I doing this summer? What's the most culturally rich thing I can do next week? What experience is giving me the most depth? How do I make sure this was worth it? Worth it compared to what? Worth it compared to who? I never actually answered that question. I just kept building a list of things to do. And another example is my YouTube channel. I saw the same pattern. I have a running list of video ideas all the time. Some of them come from things I actually want to do and say, whether it's a travel video or an idea like this one. And some of them come from looking at the platform and looking at what's trending, what's doing well, and working backwards. What video is going to get to grow the channel? What is going to get the most clicks? Is it going to hit the algorithm right? What's the right video to make next? And I don't think it's a bad question. It's actually a reasonable question if you're trying to build something on a platform like this. But I noticed that when it becomes the first question, it starts to crowd out the only question that actually matters to me: what do I have to say? Because there's a version of running a YouTube channel where you get pretty good at reverse engineering content. You understand the patterns, you hit the topics that are ranking, you structure the things correctly, and you build something that works and that gets views. But it might not actually have much to do with you anymore. And I realized that I started this channel because I had things I wanted to say, stories I wanted to tell, or perspective on what actually it means to build a life somewhere new. not the highlights, not the visa tips, the real version of it. And that's the reason I'm still here. So when I was making decisions based on what's the optimal video, before I've even asked what's true for me right now, I'm doing the same thing I was doing with my summer list. I was optimizing an experience instead of having one. I think this is a really easy pattern to fall into. I don't think it's laziness or shallowness. I think it's actually something that comes from caring. When something matters to you, you want to do it right. You want to make it count, and making it count in the world most of us grew up in means having something to show for it. A result, a metric, proof that it was worth the investment. Living abroad, you better have a rich and transformative experience. Running a channel, it better be growing. Building a business, better have the numbers to back it up. And so we start managing these things instead of doing them. We optimize, we plan, we measure, because that feels like control. It feels like we're taking it seriously. But I think there's something in that process. The thing we actually wanted gets pushed aside, and what's left is the performance of wanting it. The most honest moments I've had here in the past 8 months weren't planned. I can't point to a single thing on any list I made that changed how I see something. What actually got to me were the things that just kind of happened. A conversation I didn't expect, a neighborhood I wandered into because I had an hour to kill, an afternoon that I didn't necessarily produce anything and just enjoyed the experience of living here. And it's the same thing with this channel. When I've stopped worrying about optimizing the channel and making the videos that I actually want to, something clicks for me. And these videos feel a lot more authentic and true to me. Now, I'm not saying don't be intentional. I'm saying there's a version of intentionality that becomes a substitute for presence, and it's worth knowing which one you're doing. So I've been sitting with a different question lately. Not, am I making the most of it, but just, what's the point? Well, I think the point of all of this is that life is a series of experiences, and all of them matter. But our goal isn't necessarily to optimize or to prove to ourselves or to other people that decisions we made were worth it. We don't have to show output from the things we choose to do. We don't need to show that we had the most meaningful trip to a country or a new place. We don't need to prove that our hobby is productive or adds value or generates revenue. And if a business idea fails or we find that it wasn't the right move for us, we don't need to prove to ourselves or others that we have to go all in anyways. It's okay to try something and to fail. So stop to ask yourself, what's the point? At the end of the day, this life is for you to live, to have different experiences and to make choices that align with your values and allow you to have play and to enjoy the moments of each day and not be so worried about planning, optimizing, or proving that your life is worth it, whether it's to yourself or to other people. Life is an opportunity to experience and to learn. And I've found that it happens best when you simply let it happen. And you don't worry so much about the plan or the best path forward, but rather just let it come as it were. So I'd be curious what your thoughts on all of this are down in the comments below, what your experience has been with optimizing or over-indexing for experiences in your life and how you've combated that. I look forward to your comments down below. And if you liked this video and you're new here, please subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps me out. Also, I'm building out an email list to keep you updated on what I'm working on, as I have some ideas that might interest some of you on what I'm doing and how my experiences could better serve other people. Anyways, I'll leave a link below with that link if you want to subscribe to the email list. Until then, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the trail.